Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to SoulSpacePodcast. Today is episode number 36.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to talk about the focus wheel, something that is a lot needed for us that can't focus, especially. No, something that's really helpful that we use a lot in coaching. And it really helps you narrow things down to what you want to focus on. That's why it's called focus wheel.
Right.
But what you want to focus on in your life at this time. It doesn't have to be a permanent, thing, but where you want to go right now, or what you're in life, what you're focusing on. And you can use it for a lot of different things like career or life in general, or getting your happiness, or whatever it is that you want to use it for, right?
Yeah, sometimes even starting with a really general statement
Yeah.
can help you gain clarity. And one of the things that I really like about it is not only does it help you live with clarity on the subject that you're wanting to improve, but it also gets you from feeling maybe not so great about that subject to feeling better about that subject, being
Right.
closer in vibration to where you want to be on that subject, so that you're getting more of the things that you want, like, with career or with how you feel, or the direction that you're wanting to go. I mean, there's so many different things that you can do with the focus wheel, and that's why it's wonderful. It's a super flexible tool.
Yeah.
And you always, at the end of your focus wheel, feel better.
Yeah.
And
sure.
that really is one of the main goals, is that vibrationally you're putting out a better vibration, you're feeling better, you're enjoying your life more.
Yeah. Yeah. I've even used it with a client before, and this just came to me. I don't know why it didn't come to me when we were talking earlier, but I've used it with a client that had conflict between siblings, like uh, uh, two siblings, and she wanted to ease that because she didn't want the conflict in there.
Right.
And it was just things where they didn't see eye to eye, her and her brother or something, or her sister, I don't remember which, but and it really just to focus on the positive things. When you write that around the circle, it really helped to ease that. And by the time we were done, it was like, wow, I don't even feel that at all anymore. So it really helped ease that conflict that really was nothing to begin with.
Right. It's really about feeling that sense of relief.
Yeah.
And release of the negative emotion around that subject. And that's what the focus wheel is really great for.
Yeah.
And it helps you to focus on what you do want.
Right.
And that's a huge deal too, is like you're training your brain to focus on, this is what I would do want on the subject, not what I don't want.
Yeah.
And that's why I love it. And there's no wrong way to do it, because you're going to think of, as you start, usually at the beginning, you're probably going to think of a couple of statements that are like, okay, that throws me off into the bushes. That doesn't fit with where I want to be on this subject. And so you might have to throw a couple statements out first before you get to one that feels right. And we'll talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
And how to properly do a focus wheel to really make it work for you.
Cool. Awesome. So do you want to read the thing in there first, or should we talk about how the mechanics of it?
Yeah, so I think I'll talk about it here, and then
Okay.
we'll add to the information. So
Okay.
so we originally heard about focus wheels through Asking It Is Given, one of our favorite books.
Of course.
By Esther and Jerry Hicks. We love it. I mean, there's so much good material in here.
Yeah.
But this is one that we do use purposely in our coaching, and it helps a ton. And I like to use it myself. So this is process number 17 in the back of the book. It's page number 257 if you have this book, called the Focus Wheel Project. Could be a project. You could put it on your wall if you want to. So it's about reaching for a feeling of relief. And okay, so I'm going to start on page 258, because the beginning just kind of tells you a little bit where on the emotional guidance scale you are. And that part's not so much as important as the rest of it is. So Through exposure to life experiences, people often arrive at beliefs that hold them in a vibrational pattern that disallows the receiving of something they desire. And even though those beliefs are not serving them, many people defend their continual return to these unpleasant facts, arguing, after all, they're true. We want to remind you that the only reason anything has manifested into a physical, tangible, definable truth is because someone has given enough attention to it to make it so. But just because someone else has managed to create their truth, it does not mean that it has any relationship to you or what you will create. In your attempt to document the facts and events of your time, you often, without knowing you are doing it, hold yourself in patterns of vibrations that make it certain that you will confirm the truth or some fact you are studying with your own life experience. It is not because it is an undeniable truth that you are witnessing, but it is because, in your attention to it, you have achieved vibrational harmony with it. So the law of attraction brings a matching experience to you.
Hmm.
I love that part. It really
Yeah.
helps you to realize that truth really is subjective. And
Mhm.
we all have completely different experiences and perceptions of what's going on around us and
Yeah.
how viewing other people's experiences and truth and facts and things really affects how we see the world. And it
Mhm.
doesn't necessarily have to. You don't have to recreate things that other people create. You can create your own of what you do want
Right.
rather than repeating people's old patterns.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really important, about repeating different people's patterns, or, thinking we have to be on a certain path just because that's what our parents did or what
Right.
our grandparents did.
Mm-hmm.
We have our own path to make, and uh, sometimes we have to unlearn some things before before we can go on our own path. And that's why this is really good to use for that, to
Absolutely.
figure out, what do I really want? What do I really love? Um, and where do I want to go with that?
Right. And what's in vibrational alignment with what my truth is and
Hmm.
what's not.
Right.
What feels good and what doesn't. And we'll talk about how that fits in with the focus wheel a little bit
Hmm.
too. Sometimes someone will say to us, but Abraham, I cannot ignore this for it's true. And we say, it is only true because someone has made it true by giving their attention to it. You see, what you are actually saying here is because someone else has given attention to this, and therefore by the law of attraction invited it into their own experience, I think I'll do the same. In other words, even though I don't want it, I'm obliged to create it in my own reality because someone else did. There are many things that are true that you do desire, and there are many things that are true that you do not desire. It is our encouragement that you give your attention to the things that you do desire and make those wonderful things the truth of your life experience. Most people, however, have not deliberately guided their thoughts, those things that feel good, and so, without knowing they are doing it, they develop patterns of thoughts that they now continue to repeat. Of course, some of your patterns of thought are extremely beneficial to you, others are not. And so, this focus wheel process is designed to assist you in changing your vibrational patterns on those specific subjects that are not beneficial to you. It is a process whereby you can literally practice your thoughts into a better feeling and therefore into a better point of attraction.
Hmm.
We recommend that you spend 15 or 20 minutes with this process anytime you feel strong negative emotion about something that has happened or whenever you wish to improve your feeling of clarity. Your heightened negative emotion is always highlighting a good opportunity to shift your energy on a subject because something that you have been living has brought it to a particularly focused position. And so now, as you apply the focus wheel process to it, you will be able to feel any improvement that you achieve in a more emphatic way. We recommend using this focus wheel process in any moment when you are keenly aware of something that you do not want. This is a process where you make a general statement that matches your desire. In other words, you're reaching for a match. And how do you know you have found one? Because you feel a sense of relief. In other words, the statement soothes you. The statement just feels a little better. And once you find it, if you can focus there for a little bit, even amplify or exaggerate it, or remember something related to it, that is to say, if you can manage Once you find that gentle, comforting statement, to stay there for at least 17 seconds so that you allow another thought to join it. It will then give impetus to your newly stated belief. So this is really emphasizing once you start a positive thought, if you can keep that for a little bit, it matches another one, and another one is brought to it, and another one is brought to it, and it builds that momentum like a snowball.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I love that. That feels good. And you really do create a good momentum by the time you're done
You
with the
do.
focus. Yeah.
It gets
It's
easier
so
and
good.
easier as you go around the
Yeah,
wheel, and
yeah.
it's really a wonderful process.
Yeah.
And so we'll talk about how to begin the focus wheel process, and then we'll walk you guys through
Okay.
it. So here's how to begin the focus wheel process. First, draw a large circle on a sheet of paper. Then, then draw a smaller circle about 2 inches in diameter in the center of the large circle.
Yep.
Sit back and look at the small circle and feel your eyes focus upon it. Now, close your eyes for a moment and turn your attention to whatever has happened that has produced the negative emotion within you. Identify exactly what it is that you do not want. At this point, and you could pause the video to do this along with us if you want to. At this point, say to yourself, well, clearly I know what I don't want. What is it that I do want on this subject? It is helpful if you try to identify what you do want as well as what you do not want, as well as what you do want in terms of the way that you feel about it. For example, and these are examples given in the book, I feel fat and I want to feel slender. I feel poor and I want to feel prosperous. I feel unloved and I want to feel loved. I feel deceived and I want to feel honored. I feel ill and I want to feel well. I feel powerless and I want to feel my power. Okay, so what you do is in the center piece, you write where you want to be on that subject. And I did a focus wheel before we started. So I can give you guys an example as we go. And in the center, I'll show you. You can't really read it, so I'm going to read it to you. Boop, boop. Okay. In the center, I wrote, I feel clarity about my purpose in life. And so I made just a very general statement about clarity. So next, try to write statements around the outside edge of your large circle that match what it is that you do want. When you find a statement that is a close enough match, you will know it. In other words, you will feel whether the statement does not match and throws you off the wheel into the bushes, so to speak, or whether it is a statement that is close enough to your desire that sticks. So when you first begin this process, it's very likely that you will have a thought that doesn't match or even move in the direction of what you've put in the center of what you do want. So like when I started this one, so like my center is, I feel clarity about my purpose in life. Well, my first thought after I wrote that was, I don't feel clear about my purpose in life. So that threw me off into the bushes. Like, well, that doesn't fit with this because I that doesn't feel good when I think that thought. But my next thought was, I know that I want to be happy. And I was like, okay, that one fits. I feel good about that. So I put that up in the 12 o'clock position. So think about this as a clock. And you're going to have a notch for each part of the clock, right? So 12 o'clock position is where I put that. That's where I started. All right. The reason the focus wheel process is so effective is because the statements you are writing are those that you have deliberately chosen. They are general statements that you already believe that match your desire. And the reason it works is because the law of attraction is so very powerful that when you hold a thought for as little as 17 seconds, another thought like it will join it. And as those two thoughts come together, there's a combustion that occurs that makes your thoughts even more powerful. That snowball effect that we talked about earlier, and how one meets another, meets another, meets another, meets another by law of attraction. Whenever you make a general statement, you are more likely to be pure in your thought than when you make a specific statement. So the power of the focus wheel is that you are making general statements that you already believe. And as you hold each of them for 17 seconds or so, it gives you an opportunity to offer a pure vibration that is more and more specific to your desire. So let us say that you are preparing to do this process and you know that your intention is to eventually write, I feel good about my body, or my knee is well. But if you begin there, if your first little phrase you write is, I feel good about my body, you can tell by the way you feel that the energy is not lined up, because all it did was make you feel ornery and aggravate your awareness that you do feel fat or your knee does hurt. So that statement was too specific. So like my first statement was, I don't feel clear about my purpose in life. Well, that didn't feel good, so that threw me off. So I didn't put that one down on the paper. I started with the first one that did feel like relief, that felt good, that felt like it was more in alignment with the middle piece that I'm moving towards. Even if it's not exactly on there, like I know that I want to be happy, it doesn't really say I have clarity, but it's something that I know and that I do have clarity on. So it fit with what I was going for. So if you start with a statement that's too specific, well, that doesn't really work usually. In other words, it is sort of like trying to jump on a train that is going too fast, and all you do is just bounce back off of it. Can you imagine trying to get on a merry-go-round that is going too fast? You cannot quite get on yet, but if it slows down, you can. And then it can speed up. And as it does so this time, you will be comfortable on it. What you want to do is slow the wheel down, slow the belief down so that you can get on. And then once you do so, you can increase the speed of the vibration. Now, just by trial and error, you can choose another statement. You may say something like, I know that my physical body responds to my thoughts. Well, that is a softer statement, and you already believe that. But that makes you a little mad at yourself. So that was not quite really good starting point either. You feel around for something else and you say something like, for the most part, my body is doing all right. Well, now you believe that. That statement feels right, and you're able to stay on the merry-go-round. And so that was the beginning statement for that example. So as you write that around your circle and you focus upon it, it feels pretty good. And then you can make another statement. So once you find a statement that feels like, okay, yeah, that feels okay. That feels like relief. I can go with that statement. I can move somewhere. That's the first statement that you write down. And then we start going along the wheel. And so, like I said, it's like using a clock. So I'll go around my wheel and I'll show you where I went. And then Tracy, we can talk about the one that you just did on the fly. Hey. Okay, so I began with, I feel clarity about my purpose in life. So my first statement was, I know that I want to be happy. And then I did that at 12 o'clock. So then at 1 o'clock, I said, I know I want to enjoy my life. And then I went to 2 o'clock. And I said, I feel that I am a decent wife. Then I went to 3 o'clock on the clock. I know that I like to help others. Then I went to 4 o'clock. I know I enjoy helping people find their joy. At 5 o'clock, I put, I know I love to teach. At 6 o'clock, I put, I know I love to inspire. At 7 o'clock, I know I love energy work and healing. At 8 o'clock, I know I love mediumship. At 9 o'clock, I know I love seeing families heal. At 10 o'clock, I know I love empowering people. At 11 o'clock, I know I have some clarity on the things I love to do and am passionate about. And so that's the whole clock I went around. And once I found that first statement, it really goes faster and faster and faster. The thoughts just come to you. Write down the first thought that you get that feels good to you and write it down and go along that clock. And then what I like to do when I'm done with the actual focus wheel part of it is I keep going with a few other statements that I like to just keep the momentum going. So then the next one I had is, it's okay that I don't know everything right now. I know my desire for clarity is being met. I know I will enjoy the journey there. So I may not have got exactly to the point in the middle where I feel clarity about my purpose in life, but I did get clarity on the things that I enjoy and am passionate about. I did get clarity on the things that I love to do in my life and the things that I feel good about that I am currently doing. And that I felt good about the direction I'm going, and that I know that things and clarity and things will keep coming to me. And so I felt really good when I was done. I already felt pretty good before I started this. I mean, that's just my set point, right? But then I felt even better when I was done, and I felt like, yeah, I feel good. I felt satisfied. I felt Like, yeah, I don't need to know that right now, but I feel really good about the direction I'm going.
And that the things that you are doing are kind of getting you on that path that you want to be on.
And I could tell that there's things that I'm doing that I love and I enjoy. And for me, I know that that's the right direction because I'm enjoying them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So while she was reading that, I thought, okay, I'm just gonna do it about my cold, this cold that I have. And I'm not feeling good. So I put, I wish this cold would go away, was my throw me in the bushes statement. And then, so I started on the top of my wheel. Well, in the middle, I put, I feel well. And if you don't know me, I hardly ever get sick, and it's really hard when I'm sick. I don't want to be sick. So I put, I know that it feels good when I'm not coughing. So, and I'm not coughing more and more, so that feels good. It's beautiful outside and it feels good to walk in the fresh air. And I'm still able to go for a walk, even though I'm not feeling my best. I love breathing the fresh air. I can take big breaths in slowly and calmly. It feels good to exercise. I love listening to the birds sing. Nature is so healing for me. And then I should have put this one before this maybe, but I haven't caught a cold this winter until now, so that's a good thing. And this too shall pass. And then I put, I'm really feeling better and better each day. So, you know, and I am, I'm starting to feel a lot better. So it's just getting you through. And it really, by the time you are done, it feels good to get that out and to not keep, oh, why did I have to get sick? You don't dwell on that anymore. You keep going and you just feel better and things that are gonna feel good, like after we're done, I'm gonna go for a walk, and it feels really good to be outside because it's so beautiful out right now, and
it's a beautiful day.
And it's feeling like spring, so we're getting spring fever.
Yeah, a little bit.
So yeah, you doesn't have to be a huge thing in your life that you want to do the focus wheel on. You can do it on anything, really.
And it could be a huge thing too.
Yeah, and it can be. Yeah.
Those can
It
sometimes
really-
be a little sticky. So one thing that's helpful is to practice first with something that's not so heavy for you.
Right.
So then you get used to what it feels like to do one.
Mhm.
And then if you have something that's really bothering you, then you can try the focus wheel on that, because it can be a little bit harder to find positive statements when you are in such a negative feeling.
Right.
So if you're feeling a little bit better, you do one that's not so bad, and you feel better first, and then go back to the other one. It can be easier for you to
Yeah.
do that focus wheel and feel better about that subject too.
Yeah. Yeah, and I remember when we were going through coaching and learning about the focus wheel, doing it on more of my purpose kind of thing, finding out what really, really does make me happy and where I want to be working, what do I want to do that does bring me joy and happiness to do. And I found out those things. I got a lot of clarity on those things, and that's what I've been doing ever since. So, it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's a really good thing to do. And it doesn't have to be a hard thing, start out with the small stuff, like, having a cold or whatever it is, or deciding what you want for dinner or whatever, what are the things you like? Think about that, and put those around that circle, and you'll get to the middle.
Right. And it's really about starting to move yourself towards what you do want, thinking about what you do want on that subject.
Right.
Because a lot of us can focus a lot on the negative, and that's what we've been trained to do. We've trained our brains to do. So this is retraining your brain to think about, what do I want?
Yeah.
Because I find a lot of times with clients, when you ask them, well, what do you want? It takes them a minute.
This, and I don't want
this, I don't want this, I don't want that. Right. But what do you want? And
Right.
a lot of times people get stuck
And that's
there.
the hard question for a lot of people
Yeah, 'cause they
because
don't
they're
think-
always thinking about what they don't want.
Right, they don't think about what do you want, though?
Right, yeah,
And that's a really important place to start.
Yeah.
What do I want?
yeah,
I know what I don't want. That's why they suggest in the book, start with what you know you don't want. You know you don't want this on that subject.
yeah,
Okay, great. Now that you have clarity on that, what do you want?
yeah, it's,
That can help you get there.
yeah, it's so good to use.
I love
Yep.
it. It's a really good process.
Yeah,
And obviously I already feel better. So
yeah, me
you
too.
try this process and tell us how it goes for you.
Yeah,
It's a really good one. And if you don't have this book yet and you've been watching us for a while, you should consider it.
right,
It's such a good
then
book.
you'll be able to follow along with us.
Yes, you'll be able to follow along with all the things. And there's another piece in here kind of at the end that I think really gives clarity on the whole process and why you want to do it. So it's on page 264 if you do have the book, and it says, Abraham, speak to us more about the focus wheel process. You may have heard us say that your point of power is in the present, because even though you may be thinking about the past, or you may be thinking about the now, or you may be thinking about the future, you are doing it all right now. You are vibrating now. The pulse is now. The vibrational offering is now. So what is happening is any creative tension between the summoning of the life force and allowing of it to flow through you, the summoning and the allowing, is all happening right here in the now. So here is the word that we want you to focus upon for the next few days. Here you stand in this fresh place. We love the freshness of where you stand. And now we want to show you how to stand in this fresh place and align with your fresh energy and fresh desire that will bring fresh and easy results. The focus wheel is the best tool that we have found to help you bridge a belief so that it matches your desire. And that's what we're trying to do, is bridge where your belief stands with the desire that you have, where you want that belief to be so that it matches your desire so that you can begin to manifest it. All right, now, this is what we mean by this. The formula for creating anything, even, let us say, joyful tax preparation, joyful tax preparation. It's possible, there are people that do it, is identify the desire and then achieve a vibrational match with it. And we've talked about this a lot in our podcasts already, is become a vibrational match to what you want. So they're going to give us an example. So just to begin by trying to find a phrase that will let you on the wheel. Write phrases that are close enough to what you already believe so that they do not throw you off in the bushes, so to speak. In other words, if you wrote, I'm enjoying doing my taxes, you're off in the bushes. If you write, I just think it is a wonderful thing that the government takes my money and squanders it in useless ways, you are off in the bushes. They like to be funny. And so the goal is to try to find something that matches your desire that feels better. So you could write something like, I'd like to be on top of my life. It feels good to meet my commitments. I like it when I do things in a timely fashion. I love the feeling of order and organization in my experience. Now, that might have been too strong of a statement. You will know. You can tell by the way it feels whether it stays or whether it does not. So through trial and error, you just keep trying. So then you say something like, I imagine there are a whole lot of people who have felt like I'm feeling, who now have this thing handled. That got you on the wheel. While the IRS taxing system isn't perfect, it's a mechanism through which our government runs. Now, did you end up on the bushes on that? Or did you get on the wheel with it?
Mhm.
Every year, I'm getting better at this. I'm managing things more comfortably. I'll find ways to make it more comfortable. My taxes are a good incentive to help me sort of get things organized and figure things out. The better it feels, the better it gets. Now, here is the thing we want you to hear. We have not solved anything. In other words, nothing has really changed. You still have your taxes to do, but the thing that we most want you to hear is that you are standing in a different place right now than you were before. In other words, clarity will come to you more easily than before. Memory will come to you more easily than before. An idea of where you left something will come to you more easily than before. In other words, all of those scattered pieces of your life They're in piles and boxes and folders and the bottoms of purses. All those pieces of information that are scattered here and there are coming together in your mind. In other words, your inner mind will begin to feed you in a consistent way, in a way that will not happen before you took a little time to align your energy with your desire. Whether it is a castle or a button, if you are using it as your object of attention, it is summoning the life force, and it is the feel of the life force that life is about. The reason that you are summoning it is inconsequential. In other words, it is every bit as possible to feel as much joy in the preparation of your taxes as in the planning of an ocean cruise. Now you might not believe that, but that is because you have not allowed the energy to flow through you toward that object of attention without resistance. You summon the energy because you want to do what you have to do, but then you divert the energy because you have all these habits or practice statements that do not let it flow. When you have energy flowing through you and you do not let it flow, it beats up on you pretty good. And now, because the focus wheel process causes you to focus for a longer than usual period of time on a specific subject, while you are deliberately reaching for thoughts that feel good, your point of attraction does change. By applying the simple but powerful focus wheel process to a variety of subjects as they come up in your life, you can effectively improve your point of attraction regarding everything that is important to you.
Good. That feels good. Yeah, so any task that you have to do that you're dreading to do, if you did a focus wheel on it, it would make it so much easier.
Yeah, it would. Because your point of attraction would be better. And so then when you start that,
right,
then it's already starting easier and with more flowing energy, and it'll just feel like, oh, well, that wasn't so bad.
Yeah,
that was way better than I thought it was going to be.
Right. And that's one thing that I learned from a mentor a long time ago, was to be in good energy when you're doing those things that you have to get done. Any kind of paperwork or whatever it is, scrubbing the floor, whatever. If you started out when you're in a good mood and feeling good at the time, that task will just you'll fly right through it, and it's way easier to get through it when you feel good to start with.
Absolutely. So if you have something ahead of you that you need to do, like taxes, I mean, that's something that's coming up for everybody right now this time of year.
Yeah.
If you haven't done them already, because of course I haven't. Like, why would I have done that already?
Why do them really?
Why do them really, but anyway, when you have something coming up that you're not really looking forward to, that would be a good subject to do the focus wheel on.
Yeah.
Like, I want my taxes to be easy.
Or I want to be organized.
Yeah.
With my paperwork, or any of those things that go along with it. Yeah.
Anything
Start
that goes
out
along
with
that.
If that one feels too big, then start with a smaller thing.
Right. Like, that's too specific. Like, if even saying the word taxes, you're like, yeah, go with, I want to be organized. I want to feel organized. I like being organized. Any of those are a little bit more general.
Yeah.
But they still have to do with that subject, just on a more general level.
Right.
And you're not thinking taxes, you're thinking organization.
Yeah.
Well, I like being organized.
Yeah.
It feels good to be able to find things.
Yeah. It's awesome. And now that we talk about throwing in the bushes, now anytime I say something or get a thought in my head, if it's not a happy thought or a good moving forward thought, I can see myself going into the bushes. So, that might be a way for you to judge on yourself if that is a good thought or a negative thought. Is that moving forward or moving backward? Your mind will tell you.
Yeah, right.
Your heart will say, whoops, in the bushes.
Yeah, like, oh, that didn't feel good. I don't like. So what's another one?
Right. Yeah. What else can I write down? But and sometimes it's good to get those yucky ones out of the way and write them down, and then start your circle.
Yeah.
And start on the positive. If those thoughts that aren't moving you forward keep coming up, then write them down, and that'll help get them out of your head.
Get them out, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then you can shred that sheet of paper or whatever,
Yeah.
burn it, whatever it is. Yeah, to get rid of it. So remember to always be solution focused and not problem focused. That's the main train of thought, when we're always focusing on the problems, we're getting stuck in the mud or stuck in the bush. If you're thinking forward focused and solution focused, it's getting you moving forward.
Exactly. If you're always focused on this is the problem,
Right.
where are you at? You're in the problem.
And you're creating more of those problems.
Continuing that into your future.
Right.
So you're like, I'm focused on this problem. This is the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem. This is the problem. You see the problem, right? The problem. Well, where are you? You were in the problem. You're not in the solution. The solution and the problem are not in the same vibrational space.
Right.
And so what this helps you to do is figure out, okay, well, what solution do I want?
Yeah.
This is how I want to feel. That's a solution, right? So can you move your way towards that? So it pulls you away from the problem and brings you more into what it is that you do want, towards what you do want, towards the solution.
Yeah.
Because a problem is a problem, but do you want to stay there?
Right.
Do you like continuing that problem? Is that enjoyable? No.
No.
So this helps you to move towards where the solutions are.
For sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And sometimes you come up with a solution or you get an inspired thought. You're like, oh, I could do this instead, or this makes so much sense, or oh, I remember where that is. It's
Right.
really cool how those things pop in sometimes when you're doing a focus
Absolutely.
wheel as you begin to feel better.
Yeah. 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 Our mind is an amazing thing, and it, you'll get those breadcrumbs to follow if you start thinking solution focused instead of in the problem. For
Right.
sure.
Acknowledge the problem.
The gates open up and you find solutions easily.
Right. Acknowledge the problem.
Yeah.
Acknowledge where you want to be.
Yeah.
Move toward where you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And amazing things happen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Awesome. Well, I hope this helps you feel better today or feel good in a good spot. And if you don't, do a focus wheel.
Yes.
It's easy.
It's easy. It takes a minute, maybe 2.
Yeah.
5 if you're
5
trying
at
real
the
hard.
most. Yeah. Yeah. If you really want to struggle. If you're stuck in the middle of that bush.
Mhm.
Yeah, try it out and see what you think. See what you come up with. It's so good to have solutions and have a toolbox of things that you can use, and that's why we're here.
Yes.
To help you with those and help you create a toolbox of your own to use, so that you know what to do when you're in a rut or in the mud.
Right.
Yeah. So Carissa, where can we find you?
So if you want to connect with me, obviously you can connect on our YouTube channel, which you're watching right now. Or you can find me on Facebook at Light of Hope Healing, or I also have a Square site, which is light-of-hope-healing.square.site, which hopefully I'll get that website a little simpler later. We'll see. Also, we are collectively at our SoulSpace on Facebook as well.
Yep.
And Tracy, what about you?
I'm at inspiredsignals.com and on Facebook and Instagram at Inspired Signals and Inspired Signals Studio.
Yes, where you make beautiful things.
Where I have fun and create fun things.
Well, I think this wraps it up for us this week.
Yeah.
But join us next week for another wonderful experience on our podcast. We look forward to talking with you soon.
Yeah.
And have a wonderful week. Try this focus wheel and let us know how it goes. Send us a comment or ask us questions. Let's say you're stuck on a point. Well, ask us. Let us know. We're happy to help.
Yeah. For now, bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
See you next time.